everyone, thanks for joining me today for my review of HBO's sci-fi show Raised by Wolves Season 1. Before I get into it, please smash that like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Thanks! For those of you that don't know, I'm a huge fan of sci-fi. I love all things sci-fi, from Star Wars to Star Trek, Babylon 5, Stargate, Dark Matter, and many, many, many more. Naturally, one of my favorite sci-fi movies of all time is Alien by Ridley Scott. I have my reservations about Prometheus and Alien Covenant, which I'm not getting into here, but I wanted to let you know that I'm a fan of Scott's works, especially the world building he's done for Alien, which sparked a huge franchise. So when I heard about Raised by Wolves, I was intrigued to say the least, and this show is created by Aaron Guzikowski, who wrote most of the episodes, and it's produced by Ridley Scott, who only directed the first 2 episodes. And I really wish he had directed more, because those first 2 episodes were, in my opinion, the best 2 episodes of the season. Ridley Scott and Aaron Guzikowski do not fail to capture the somber mood, mystery, and atmosphere of this desolate planet and masterfully combine it with a score that captivates you on a very deep level. And speaking of which, I usually skip the intro to a series after the first episode, but this series has a hauntingly beautiful opening theme that I listen to at the start of every episode, and I still replay it in my mind weeks after I finish the show. Raised by Wolves is not without its flaws, but overall I enjoyed it very much. I enjoyed it because it succeeded in taking me to another world and helped me escape without pushing our world's politics or virtue signaling every episode, which is all I ask for nowadays when it comes to sci-fi. The overall theme of the series has to do with what defines a human being. The show is about 2 androids, mother and father, who come to a new planet called Kepler 22b on a mission from their maker, an atheist named Campion Sturgis, to raise human children by way of artificial insemination after the Earth has gone through a very destructive war between 2 factions of humanity, the atheists, and a religious order, the Mithraic, who believe in a deity called Soul. The show has a great cast and complex characters, and as each episode goes on, you begin to like and dislike some of them very much. It really grips you in that sense. Alright, from here on out, I'm going to get into spoiler territory, so if you're wanting to watch the show without spoilers, tune out here. So in this war, the Mithraic created an android weapon called the Necromancer, and we find out in the first 2 episodes that Mother is actually this weapon that was reprogrammed by her maker to be the mother of humanity. We later learned that the Mithraic didn't fully understand what they were building, and that her technology, which is referred to as dark photon technology, was derived from the formulas they discovered that were encrypted in the Mithraic scriptures. From the 6 embryos that mother and father create, only one survives life on this barren and dangerous planet. He's named Campion after the android's maker, who we later see Mother have a connection with by unlocking memories within her memory banks using a virtual simulation pod, aka Sim. While Father is a standard service model, Father is a lot more emotionally intelligent than Mother in a lot of ways, and is much more of a caretaker to the children than Mother. And he is my favorite character in the show so far. Speaking of the Sims, one of my problems with the series was how some of these pods and other tech from the crash ship still had power and are able to operate. It's never quite explained, and I'm assuming that it was running on auxiliary or backup power, but it would have been nice to explain how it still worked. In episode 1, 12 years pass after Mother and Father first begin their mission, and then a Mithraic arc ship finally shows up above Kepler 22b and sends down a few soldiers to scout the planet. At this point, we're introduced to the character Marcus, who becomes a focal character and is one of the complex characters I spoke about earlier. He's actually an atheist soldier who, along with his girlfriend Sue, surgically altered their physical appearance in order to take a spot on the Ark ship, but realized that the people they took the lives of had a son, Paul, who they come to think of as their own throughout the season. After the soldiers spend the night, after meeting Campion, they speak of a prophecy within their scripture that goes, "An orphan boy who dwells in an empty land, the prophet who will discover the Mithraic mysteries." They think Campion might be this child and want to take him back to the Ark ship with them, and Mother does not like this at all and finally shows who she truly is, a necromancer. Flies to the ship and basically kills everyone there and causes the ship to crash on the planet, but not before stealing 5 children from the ship, including Paul, Marcus's adopted son. That scene was absolutely badass, and I was blown away by the craziness of it and her awesome power. Marcus's character is an intriguing one because at first he's very much an atheist and had fought on the atheist side for a long time during the war, but as time passes on Kepler 22b, he begins to hear the voice of Sol telling him to do certain things and actually starts to believe he is the prophet of the Mithraic prophecies. The mystery of who the prophet is explored throughout the first season, and some candidates include Campion, who didn't have an actual biological parents, Marcus, who was an orphan of war, and Paul, whose parents were killed by Marcus and Sue. I think in the end, the series tried to make it so that it seems like Paul is the prophet, but my money is still on Campion. He is, after all, who the series is about, but I guess we'll find out in season 2? There are definitely a lot of religious symbolism in this series, with Mother and Father representing Adam and Eve and how Mother flies in the shape of a cross, and the snake creatures in this garden, quote unquote, that are shown throughout the series to be this extinct species of this mysterious planet. The planet also harbors its own indigenous species who seem to be human but are apparently evolving backwards. Again, I'm not really sure how that works, and it's definitely something that I hope is going to be explored in season 2. In the final episode, Mother actually gives birth to one of the extinct snake creatures in a scene that was right out of Ridley Scott's playbook. Oh, and of course, the androids bleed white, another homage to the androids in Alien. I kind of thought something like that was coming after we realized that the baby wants to feed on plasma, and it made me think that whatever this creature is, it's not human, and I thought that it might actually be one of these snake creatures, so I was not totally shocked when it happened, but it was still very surreal, and if you rewatch the series, there is a lot of foreshadowing of that being the case. How intelligent this creature is now is the real question. It does possess Mother's capability to fly, and I think that it was the reason the landing pod made it to the other side of the planet. I don't know. I think it's intelligent and was able to guide the pod through the lava and to the other side. That was something I didn't see coming, I can tell you that. Of course, again, there were themes of sacrifice as Mother and Father did try to sacrifice themselves to save the children from this creature, but it was in vain, or so it seems, though I think they did survive as well. And finally, the second Ark ship shows up and brings more humans to Kepler 22b, which is now inhabited once again by a giant snake creature that now flies. Marcus comes across some of these newcomers, but I think they're atheists. They are dressed in black and are very different from the Mithraic, and they don't seem to carry the sun sign of Sol. My theory is that we will find out a lot more about the history of Kepler 22b in season 2, and perhaps that Sol, which is the virus that impregnated Mother through the virtual sim and speaks to Paul and Marcus, might actually be a form of AI. Or maybe an intelligent mind that completed a mind transfer to AI form in the planet's history, long forgotten within the history of the planet, that might reside inside the giant 5-point building in the middle of the desert said to hold the Mithraic mysteries in the prophecies. Which is another mystery left yet to be solved. Could this AI have gotten access to Mother and Father's lander or the Ark ship's history and learned about humanity's story and the things that have transpired be part of its plan to resurrect itself and its brethren? If the snake species was intelligent, that could be the case. Or maybe the human creatures that lived at the same time as the snake creatures and designed the AI? This is all pure speculation, of course. How has this soul creature, whatever it is, been able to contact humans and command them to do things like what happened with Tempest and the guy in the helmet? How is it able to project the dead into being like Tally and Mouse, and even create artwork on the walls of one of the yurts? There are so many questions to be answered in season 2, and I, for one, am very impatiently waiting for it. But the good news is that apparently they started filming season 2. We got an update from Abu Bakr Salim, who plays Father, who tweeted on March 8th, "We're back! Big news this week. Watch this space. Feeling incredibly fortunate for being here. Thanks to not only the creator and the network, but a big thank you to the people who watch and enjoy the show. Let's have at 'em." So hopefully we won't have to wait for too long for season 2 to drop. I hope you enjoyed my review of Raised by Wolves. Please hit that like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, and let me know in the comments your thoughts of season 1 and tell me some of your theories for season 2. Thanks for watching and have a great day. Bye!